Welcome back, anglers. I'm the SurvivalVis, and we return to Ultimate Fishing Simulator, where I'm going to do one more episode on St. Zenos' Lake before we might backtrack to the very first map. I think it was Betty Lake, in order to try doing a little bit of, currency farming or that, but I tried to do a little bit reading on Ultimate Fishing Simulator, and it's kind of... I'm trying to think of the right way to describe it. I almost want to say, like, smoke and mirrors, where a lot of what you're seeing isn't really how things are operating. Like, one of the things that seemed to be when it came to using our feeding setup here was that as much as we would have a lot of fish swimming around our setup here, nothing ever really struck the bait. So I'm going to see if maybe one of the issues was if you have bait in the feeder, they only are attracted to the feeder and not actually the hook bait. But in order to actually toss this out, it needs a feeder attached, so that's why this is as it is. For our other stuff, the spinning one, I'm kind of stuck just where it is. I'm going to try different water depths to see if there's any better luck with some of them, but I don't know if there's really, like, a certain lure type that will really, really work for species and doesn't work for others. It doesn't really have, like, an effectiveness gauge to it, and a lot of these hook sizes where they go, like, number 8/0, meaning for they're very big, but we haven't really seen anything increase in size as we've been playing. Like, we're into area, I guess this is maybe the third map? I kind of thought we would see a little more progression as we've been going along, but it doesn't feel like that actually is, like, a thing at all. So I'm going to use the Hunter Sense. We'll try to find a spot that looks like it has, looks like maybe we can try right... We'll try forward right out here with a good long cast and see. Well, we'll try this out, see if not having the feeder on there actually helps and things actually go right for it or not. And then the other thing was to use our spinning line here. And let me just check. Okay, this is a size 6. Okay, it's good for pike, but I don't think it's good for anything else for this map, because there's pike, there's chub. I don't think there's anything else. See, this one does list some of the species, but it feels like the fish don't get big enough to require this, like, the number 2 size. Because, like, the black crappies and the bluegill, I think they stay really small for a species. But we'll probably just stick with this and see if anything does happen to it. Just want to take a look out. Actually, it doesn't look like anything's actually drawn to what we got in there right now. It does say the hook size is proper, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I don't know what it is when it comes to, like, Ultimate Fishing Simulator in a way. Like, I don't know if it's just, there's this generic, if it's, like, really simple for the fish AI, where it's like, this bait works for this, so then, yes, they can strike, but there's no way to increase the effectiveness or decrease. There's not, like, a specific lure type that works. It's one of those ones where it feels like there should be more tangible progression and effects than you really come across with. It's kind of the case that I ran into when it came to Russian Fishing 4 when it came to spin fishing, where it seemed like I could try a bunch of different lures, yet so much of them just did not seem to really work or do much. So I do not like that we're running into that, but we'll keep going for a little bit longer with Ultimate Fishing Simulator, but I think... I'm trying to remember what we want to do. I do probably want to go back to a previous map. What I'll probably do is I'll try going back to the first map now that we've got the means of getting some better gear. We'll probably see if we can actually catch some larger fish just in Betty Lake with that. If they actually do increase at all in size from what we have been going for or not, but if not... I'm just trying to see. God... Now, one of the things, too, I don't know if it's because I don't have, like, the cast distance, if that would help as well. Yeah, I'm going to let that go down for a little bit. Now, one of the things I do want to watch, and the comments came in, is there any effect on, like, if you let the lure sink deeper into the water, will it have a different effect of, like, the fish are more drawn to it or not? I honestly can't really say or let you guys know on that point. The only thing I can really do is just let it sink to ground. There are Like, they're stop and go, but the only problem is I don't know exactly how to time it to, like, get more efficiency out of it. Like, that's one thing I will hand it to Call of the Wild the Angler, is for it coming up with the idea of the little timing window for doing your lure techniques. That did help. I think, though, and I will probably be checking that out sooner or later. Oh, see, now it's straight slow. Yeah, there was some good ideas for Call of the Wild the Angler. It did fall apart at certain areas, but having a little timing window to go with your techniques for, like, retrieval, I think really did help a lot when it would come to being able to at least try to target a species a bit better. Although, it could have been done so that way instead of having to rely on the mouse movements, my guess is that it was actually more designed towards, like, a gamepad for it. Because for the mouse movements, it's like 2 jig, I remember. It was a really weird up, hold it, wait for the window to lapse, and down, hold it. It was just kind of weird feeling to have, like, not the steady movements or continual movement you're used to with a mouse. Whereas I think if it was gamepad, it might just been press joystick up, wait, then down. Much different and much easier on the hand. But yeah, with how Ultimate Fishing Simulator is kind of going, and again, how it feels like the game... it feels like some gears don't mesh quite as well. Like, we are going to go back to the first map, try it out next episode, see how it goes. I'm probably going to have to try different, I might have to go try a different body of water here, because so far, I haven't heard a jingle from the bottom feeding rod. Actually, I should check with the hunter vision now that we've been letting it sit in the water, if anything has gone for it or not. And nothing really striking our spinning rod. I don't know if it is on this specific map. Each little water body has a different kind of, like, species to it. Although that would be one of the nice... We might have to try that again. Like, just go try out a few of the different water bodies to see what they have. Because I think that might be the case here. This one, I think... it's got whatever that species was. Again, I haven't really caught it to know. I know we caught pike and chub on, I think it was the southwestern little body of water there. I think channel catfish were in the top left or the northwest. Yeah, let me pull this up. Let me take that. I'll take that down, and let me see. Okay, there's our map. So we're on this water body. We're getting jackall. We'll fast travel to Area 5 here, because that gives us access to these two. And we can see from there which one we want to hit. Now, truth be told, I don't actually know which way I'm facing right now. I think I'm facing south. I'm not entirely sure. And from what I've read for, like, the time of day, that doesn't have much impact to, like, the fish you're going to catch either. It doesn't seem like that's been programmed in quite right, where certain fish are more active during certain hours. It just seems like... okay, I'll head down this way a little bit just to see. We might not have as much luck here when it comes to the bottom rod, or like our feeder rod, but we might have better luck when it comes to the spinning rod, because I'm pretty sure I saw a pike in there. I don't know the size of it. That is one of the things about the, just having to go off of tossing whatever we got in and seeing what strikes or not. Yeah, we'll try this little body. We'll try this body out for a little bit and go behind us to the other one, see if anything happens. We do have proper hook size, so we'll see if that causes any difference. But yeah, I was expecting... This game felt like it had better progression, where as you're going up, you're getting stronger gear, it applies more to your level, and you have to have certain levels to unlock new maps. But it feels like that's fallen apart the more I've gotten into this game. It has a great appearance to start with, but the gameplay kind of crumbles away a little bit more. And Russian Fishing 4 is the opposite, where it's a little bit slower and harder to get into, but once you are into it, it's much more, you start getting more options opening up slowly but surely. The only reason one of the reasons I didn't really stick with it as much was because of the time investment that it could take to keep getting through it over and over again. but it was also that it's so much repeat content because it is, if you are going to stay free to play, you do have a lot of grinding you will be doing in it. And there's only so much you can watch of the same content over and over again before you kind of get tired and need a change. But yeah, there was a chub, 2.16 kilograms, 0.62, sell that off for the little bit it gives. So it does seem like perhaps each of these little water bodies on St. Zeno's does have like a different variety of species in it. We'll toss this out again. And I do think letting the lure sink down to the bottom before retrieval is going to be our best method for it. The techniques are still a little wonky in trying to figure out, like, how to really work them, if there is a certain time frame to do certain inputs or stop on input. So I'm probably just going to stick with straight slow, but I am thinking maybe come November, since... Oh, well, there's a pike, although didn't seem like he's interested in this. Come November, when we are starting to bring in a lot more series with October done with and like the Halloween stuff over, I might look at doing a relook of Call of the Wild the Angler then. Just to try to compare, because we've got 3 different games, or we've done 3 different fishing games so far that have been like more bigger titles and a little more substance to them we can talk about and go over. But yeah, Ultimate Fishing Simulator, it started pretty good. Oh. Okay, we actually got something on this one. Although I don't think it's too big, considering we're able to reel it in without much resistance at all on there. Oh yeah, see this, whatever it is super tiny on here. There's no resistance as we're bringing it in. And weirdly enough, we caught a pike on the feeding one. Okay, well, we'll sell that off. It might be that's the only species that we're really finding here are chub and pike, although... No, see, it looks like there should be... Although they're really up around the top of the lake, so I don't know if the fish actually have, like, depending the species, they do have a water depth they stick to. That kind of reminds me of Powell Lake, where we saw a lot of the channel catfish up right around the surface. But I'm going to see about... Okay, yeah, with this set, I'm going to see about getting a feeder bait in there. Yeah, we'll do the... we'll pick up just a couple of those, just that way I have in stock. Toss this back out. And see if anything does, like, circle around it. But I do have to say, the bottom... Or when it came to the bottom feeding fishing style, Rush Fishing 4 was much better with... You actually tightened the line, you could tell a little bit better what was going on with it. And, like, being able to see into the water is cool with, like, the arcade sort of game feel. But on the other hand, it also reveals a little bit of, like, how almost janky it looks when you just have a bunch of fish circling and orbiting your hook. Again, this appealed to me starting out, but the further I've been getting into it, the more it feels like there's cracks, and I'm looking behind the curtain to find the machine ain't exactly spinning at full capacity. There's definitely some good... Oh. Okay, that was much quicker than I was expecting. So, I don't know if I just clued into the right bait and something about it, or what, but... At least we're getting a little bit more steadier action. Although, I think I want to turn the hook size up, because this is another, like, really small-seeming fish with, like, no tension to fight it. That's another little... Well, it's a very small pike. It's only 1.5 kilograms, but... Yeah, so... New portions added, and I want to see... Let's put it up to size 4 and see if anything actually goes for this. I'm curious if it will. I'll put that down. I'll wait and see until we get something like, little notification, like hook size is too large or too small or whatever. Maybe that's something is one of the broken parts of the game where you have to disregard what it's telling you for it. Or not. Apparently that's working there. So then, maybe I'll try this at hook size 4 and see as well. Yeah, I don't know, it's just been really weird trying for this game in some regards. Like, Powell Lake was a good example where we only seem to be getting the really small fish. You try increasing the hook size, you got the notice, and it felt like you got no action or nothing happening. See how that... Oh. And now we got something on this again. And at least there's a little bit of tension on this one now. I mean, we're not exactly into this as a proper fight. It's still easily lured in or being pulled in. Kind of tempted... I want to see the size of this, whatever it is, and then I might even increase the hook size again. Because it is a pike, but... Okay, this is actually the biggest we've gotten so far. And it is actually a decent amount of currency here. So, maybe it's just that I was completely off base for what I was using on this map. Again, it might just be a lot of trial and error, and eventually you'll stumble onto what works. But we'll toss that back out and see what else happens here. If I am able to get a few more fish that are giving me, like, say, 50 to 60 for pulling them in and selling them off, I'll probably not go back to that first map. Just because maybe I haven't... Okay, see, there we go. Hook size doesn't match size, so... I'm going to keep going with this and see what happens. I don't know if it, like, only gives you that notice depending on what fish are around your general area or what, but... We'll see if we get anything else for the rest of this episode at this little body of water. And if not, maybe I will go back to the first map and just try some random stuff out. I can really feel like... I'm trying to figure out what the best balance would be. Like, I don't want anything that's too predictable, like when it comes to, Call the Wild the Angler, how it used to be, where you could literally go up with your lure size and hook size and follow this is bronze, the next size up is silver, next is gold, and it completely cut off for what you were catching. But I don't want it to be too, like, in the dark, sort of like Russian Fishing 4, where you can try 6 different lures and nothing at all absolutely hits them. I don't know, I'm trying to figure out if there's, like, a good balance, or maybe there's something where it's, like, you can have an effectiveness scale for what works for the fish species individually. I don't know how to really word it or what the best approach might be for it. But I don't think I've found the fishing game that fully clicks with me yet. Granted, I don't know if there's really that many out there to try to find what really does click for me. But at least this is a way to show off and go into some of these games, how they operate, what they feel like, and spread out a little bit more news than if you have to pick it up yourself and try. I was like, if it stayed a little more steady and the progression system seemed to work right, where the hook sizes were increasing with each map, and it felt like you were actually getting some larger fish per map, then I would probably have been a little bit... I'd be more forgiving for Ultimate Fishing Simulator and stick a little more with it, but how it kind of feels where progression is just a random number tossed in the leveling system, it is nice to have certain skills in that you get, but it also doesn't seem like those skills are super helping to catch more fish or size up, or... I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it flows how you would expect it to, or that it perhaps should. So yeah, with sizing up for both this, and we'll take a look at Hunter Vision just to see if we have anything circling or orbiting our thing out there. Yeah, you can see that's right out there in the middle bit. You can see them kind of orbit and circle around, but nothing is actually striking that hook. It is the weirdest thing. I want a fishing game where it doesn't feel like it's a checklist of, like, trying to catch stuff in a way. It's not you have hook size this, lure type this, bait type this, then you're... Well, actually, even that I might take in some regards, because at least then you have some consistency you could build up and learn. Here, it's, again, weird. As if something just doesn't quite mesh or click as you would expect, or it should. I don't really know any other way to describe it, and I don't know if you guys would be able to, from what you've seen, or if you've even played this game, if you could, like, share what your feelings are, or what you've seen about it. I don't know if I'm asking a little too much when it comes to, like, oh. Well, at least something did strike with the hook size not fitting the area, but... Okay, this is given a fair fight. Let's see what it is once we bring it in. Is it a new record size? It's actually not. It's actually smaller than I think we caught. Well, it's only for 33. The last pike we had caught, I think, sold for 60, but you can see a very big variety when it comes to, like, the sell price. So yeah, now I'm really confused how I want to approach this. I'll try one or two more casts out. Oh, now the orbiting around that is just completely gone. Yeah, I think maybe come next week, I was going to try and do the... maybe I'll still try to show off the ice fishing, because we are getting enough funds that I think we might be able to buy the Winter Lake of... or buy the license for Betty Lake at Winter. And we can hopefully have... we just need the rod, and we can try the ice fishing next weekend. Just do that to show it off, and then... from there, probably bring it to a bit of a close. I don't know if there will be much to show when it comes to, like, the fly fishing of Ultimate Fishing Simulator, but the way it's going right now, it just does not feel like it's... I mean, I'm not enjoying myself as much as I did when we first leapt into it. Seems like as soon as we left the first map where we were ready for new species, maybe bigger fish, stuff like that, nothing lived up to that. So many of the hook sizes, like, even just a couple of steps up from the very smallest size possible, and we're already too large for the majority of the species of fish we're going after. You think it would still, like, there'd be a size range that would still be after this hook size, even if they were smaller in size. I don't know how to describe it, really. And I don't know if depth of water is changing anything. It might rely entirely on, like, how close it is to the fish out there. Oh, excuse me. The fish that are out there. I just don't really know. But I am glad I at least took a chance and tried Ultimate Fishing Simulator out to see. There were some good ideas I think could be carried over to other games that would be nice little improvements to them. But I do think that there is still a weirdness when it comes to the feel of progression. Like, the biggest oddity there, I think, was the transition from the first map to the second lake. Going from Betty Lake, where we were having trout, and we were able to use our landing net to actually catch fish on that first map. And then on Powell Lake, the second map, we only used the net like once, maybe twice. That, to me, kind of says, like, something seems pretty wrong here. I know certain species are not going to be as big as others, but when you come to, like, gameplay-wise, you kind of would expect if you do go to another area that feels like a new level, you would have something with it that feels like you've leveled up, too. Not what we kind of got. So yeah, you know what? I think what I'll do... we'll take this line, we'll bring it in, I'll take down the rod pod, we'll end this episode here. Oh yeah, I need that for the map. We'll try these other two water bodies out for the rest of this weekend, try to save up some funds, and next weekend what I'll do is we'll go back to just try the ice fishing out for a weekend, see how it is, and then maybe end Ultimate Fishing Simulator there. It had a strong start with a lot of neat little features to it that only a game could really let you enjoy, but it just feels like it has kind of flopped going into this point. there's still a lot of maps to go. There's more maps I haven't played than I have played. But I also don't feel like it's worth the time to do so because I'm not quite enjoying myself as much as I really feel I would have, or I thought I would to do so. It's just kind of what it is, and I don't know if that's conveyed through, like, what you guys seen or not. But yeah, at least we gave it a shot. So thank you guys for joining me on this episode of Ultimate Fishing Simulator. If you liked the video, be sure to give a like. And if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, be sure in the comments right down below. And until I see you all in the next video or episode, anglers and survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy angling.